Hi guys and welcome to my review of chapter 843 of One Piece, Vinsmoke Sanji. And I mean, this chapter was just so intense on so many levels. I mean, just forgetting the ending for a second, we got so much information. Let's just get into the chapter. I'm gonna discuss everything about Sanji in the end here because that's probably the most impactful thing, and also what I think will lead into the most speculations, rather than just, you know, somewhat objectively seeing things. So let's start with Cracker's defeat. And not as much as Cracker, but I want to talk about the 3/4 commanders, because we get the names of the other three, as well as we figure out what the fourth one who was beaten, the name of that one was. So it was Katakuri, which means potato starch, Smoothie, and Snack, which, or who was the one who got defeated. And it's important to notice, I said in my live reaction that I really want one of them to be a woman. Some are speculating Pudding, it's probably not Pudding, guessing out from these names. And just the context in general, but it's important to note that Lord is probably a translation from Sama, which is gender neutral, so it could just still be a girl. They should probably have gone with Commander instead in the translations, but still, I'm still hoping for a woman. I'm guessing that if one of them has to be a woman, it would be Smoothie, because that sounds more feminine, I don't know. Or it'd be funny if it was potato starch, because that kind of go back to Passat and the potato thing that Nietzsche didn't want to eat and stuff like that, but that's just a weird parallel. So let me move on to this, because I think one of the most shocking things in this chapter, except for the ending of course, is we get more of Big Mom's power levels here. Because yeah, now we have the soul fruit, which allows her to take souls from others and put it into inanimate objects and animals, but not living things. But now we also find out that she has the power to control and manipulate the weather. And she has the sun, Prometheus, and the cloud, Zeus, who allows her to do what was Zeus the thunder cloud and Prometheus the sun, and of course is from Greek mythology, Zeus being the thunder and sky god, and Prometheus being the titan who gave life to humanity or whatever. But but basically I was wondering, is this her devil fruit or something else? And I think I am leaning more and more towards the fact that this is the properties of her awakened devil fruit, because her power is the soul fruit, right? It allows her to manipulate life. If we go to Prometheus, he was the original Titan god thing who gave life to humanity by stealing some fire from Olympus and then giving it to humanity. Some of you might know the story, if not you can look it up. I mean, my Greek mythology knowledge is limited, but that's what I got from it. And Prometheus is quite famous, isn't he? So that would go to the devil fruit she has, because that's life and souls and all that. And Zeus is like the leader and stuff. The king of all gods, I don't fucking know. But that would then, I don't know, go along with the awakened power and stuff, because the sun and the cloud are still, they still look like the other homies we have. They're just special homies at this point, I'm guessing. But I'm just wondering how this works. I mean, we still need more information, because you can't just put that out there. Like, she has the power to manipulate and control the weather without more of an explanation. And I mean, of course, I don't expect Pound to have all the answers. I mean, why would Big Mom tell him that? But yeah, I just think there's more to it, and I really want to know what you think. Do you think that it's the properties of her devil fruit, or do you think that it's just something else? Because it could be anything, really. And I mean, we know that when it comes to Greek mythology, and Oda just pulling from that, we know that the three ancient weapons, they are from Greek mythology, their names, Poseidon, Pluton, and Uranus, or whatever it's called. So that's, and we still don't know what the Uranus is, the sky god is, and this would this would fit weirdly into that ancient weapon that we haven't met yet, but I don't want to make weird theories without getting more information. Also, because I feel like this might be leading up to theories about this, I don't believe that Nami is Big Mom's daughter. I don't want that. I just don't want that. I just want it to be a fun parallel. That Big Mom can control the weather and so can Nami to an extent, okay? I don't want to hear that. I mean, you can feel free to think what you will. I'm not gonna control your thoughts or anything here. That's not the point of me. I just don't like that theory. So yeah. Let me move on because I don't think there's much for me to talk about because it's just like a what the hell factor. See, Big Mom just went from strong, like Yonko strong, to just ridiculously strong. I mean, what the hell? I don't even know what the power skills are anymore. This is why I don't like talking about power levels, because we don't know shit about anything. And there are so many factors going into everything. I mean, Big Mom is so strong now. We all like to talk about how Blackbeard is just completely OP and everything about his powers is so ridiculous and broken. And then you have Big Mom is strong. Big Mom is so strong at this point. There's a reason she's a big, she's a Big Mom, she's a Yonko. Let's move on. So I have for some time now requested to see more of the smart part of Luffy, and while I have requested that in the sense of him fighting in a smart manner, I think we're kind of seeing things here, where he's starting to think before he do. Think before he do, think before he does. And I find that so interesting because I think throughout my live reaction I just kept commenting on the fact that Luffy seems to be talking a lot. And I was about to say using big words, but that's not really what he's doing. He's just... It's like he's breaking things down and trying to understand what's the best way to go about things. And then, I mean, it's because we see him like literally just breaking down everything that's happened from the moment Sanji left until that point in time where he was talking about it. And it seemed to me like he was thinking about what everything and how they could move forward from that, because as he said, they spent so much time just wasting time in that stupid forest, just getting them further and further away from saving Sanji. And I really, really think that, and I've said this so many times, that Luffy's understanding that these power levels that he's up against, they are not a joke. And again, before people say that I'm underestimating Luffy, please, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if he underestimates them, as he's been underestimated so many times, he will get fucked up. I mean, look at this. He was fighting Cracker for 11 plus hours. And I mean, I don't want to say he just barely beat him. I think he's still has something up his sleeve, and I think someone commented on my live reaction as well, because I did scroll through some comments before I did this review. So yeah, I do still think that Luffy is hiding something, some kind of trump card. But I just... There's a reason why Oda has Luffy struggling so early on. I just really think that we're gonna see a side of Luffy that maybe has been forgotten for some time, because up until now, yeah, he's basically been winning by punching his way through all his problems, right? And at some point, that's just not gonna cut it. At some point, you need a plan. At some point, it's important to think ahead, which is, it has kind of been others' job to do so. We've had Law thinking ahead for them, saying, okay, we need to kidnap Caesar because that's how we'll get an edge against the Flamingo, because he needs Caesar to not have Kaido be mad at him and all that. And we've had kind of Sanji having his bag in Enies Lobby or in Skypiea, where Sanji fucks things up for their enemy that has a problem for them, that gives them problems in the future, which allows the Straw Hat to escape somehow. And right now, Luffy doesn't really have a person like that. We can... Nami is there, but Nami isn't really a battle tactician, I don't know what it's called. She's not really... yes, she's smart and all that, but she's different in that kind. Do you get what I mean? It's And I think it's so important that right now it's just Luffy and Nami against the world, basically. And I just can't help but wonder how Luffy's gonna respond to all this, because we're setting up the next chapter to be fucking insane. And I'm gonna talk about that because I think I have some, I'm not gonna call it rare insight, but I think not everyone has thought about this. Possibly. I mean, again, I keep saying that you are very smart, so you might have thought of this. So just staying on the topic of Luffy thinking and being smart, I'm just gonna jump to the end of the chapter. Not until the end, but the last part of the chapter where we meet Sanji. And we see that Luffy, when he gets up to the carriage, he starts talking to Sanji, and he's like, well, I did have kind of, how did it word it? I couldn't wait for you to come back even though you said you would, so here I am, and now let's just get going. And even though I wanted to go alone, Nami, Chopper, Brook are here, and Sora and the others there in Wano, so yeah, let's just get going. I think that it's very important to note that we don't hear everything that Luffy says, because yeah, he is basically just getting a recapping to Sanji what's going on, what their situation is, and why they're here for him, why not all of them are there. And he probably also said at some point that Carrot and Pedro are there because, yeah. We don't hear everything, so I'm just guessing that in between those speech bubbles we hear everything that that wasn't said, that should have been said. And I just wonder how important that's gonna be, because Luffy just explained to the Vinsmokes what their current situation is. And the fact that he mentioned that, yeah, 5 of us are here. 5? Yeah, 4 of us, excluding Sanji, it's 4 of them, and then 2 Minks. And the fact that he's literally only with Nami, that's probably gonna be a problem for them later. And then we have the thing with Sanji and him rejecting them because he has no choice, which is really heartbreaking. I'm gonna go back to that later because that's really heartbreaking, and yeah. But I want to talk about the fact that we're basically setting up Luffy against Sanji, because Sanji says, no, let me take care of it, I will make sure to get these lowly scums out of our way. And I want to take you back to Arlong Park, because I think we're gonna see not a repeat, but a parallel to when Usopp came for Nami, and I don't remember what exactly he said to her, but something about not that she shouldn't have betrayed them or something. And Arlong basically commands his underlings to kill him or whatever, and then Nami says, no, let me do it. Or either that, or Arlong says, prove your loyalty to me by doing it yourself. Like, no matter the circumstances, Nami ended up being the one to have to dispose of Usopp. And she ended up making it seem like she had stabbed Usopp, even though she stabbed herself, and threw him into the pool ocean thing, and got him away at that point. And Usopp, for 2 reasons, I believe, didn't fight back, because 1, he was probably scared, because I mean he was severely outnumbered, and because he understood that there was more to Nami's situation. Like, he couldn't do anything if he tried to force her to go back with him, or just like meet Luffy or whatever. Nami's situation would just worsen, because there were hostages and he didn't understand Nami's situation, so he knew he needed to get away and get information or whatever. And I think we're gonna see a repeat of that, because as I said, Luffy is starting to think a lot, and he said from the get-go in this chapter, I'm not buying any of that shit you're saying, Sanji. I'm not buying it. And we know that that's not what Sanji's feeling. We know that. because he doesn't have a choice but to act the way he's acting if he wants everyone to get out of this alive. So I think, yeah, next chapter we're obviously, hopefully gonna see the battle between Sanji and Luffy, and I think it's gonna be Sanji conveying the "please save me, but don't do it right here and right now, because there are things you don't understand." Because we need to remember that Luffy doesn't know that they have hostages, and he doesn't know that Sanji has the handcuffs, and he I was about to say he doesn't know the power levels of the Vinsmokes, but he can probably feel it, because, you know, Haki and all that. But now that I'm on the topic, I'm just gonna sprint to that before I get into another thing I have in my notes. Damn, this is just so heartbreaking for Sanji, because as a Sanji fangirl, I can't handle these things, and it's so sad to see that he has to reject the people that he loves, because he has no choice. And it's just so awful, because he knows that the Vinsmokes are just tying him on hands and feet, and there's nothing he can do about it. And if he doesn't act the way they want him to act, he'll get punished. And whether that'll be because he'll lose his hands or because he'll lose someone dear to him, that doesn't matter. He just can't act like he wants to. And I want to remind you of something that I said, I think it must have been 3 months ago or something. It's been a really long time since I said this, so, I mean, no one probably watched my videos back then. But I said that there are two sides of Sanji. There is Blackleg Sanji, which is the Sanji that we all know and love, the passionate, compassionate man who cooks food for his friends and has a kind heart and just has a really stupid problem of making other people's problems his own. We see this countless of times with Kinemon, Gunfall. Just throughout the entire story, Sanji is so quick to give his sympathies to others. And then we have this bitch, Vinsmoke Sanji, who's a prince, who is superior to pirates, who is doing exactly what his father wants. He's strong, he's cold, he acts like a prince, he acts like a prick. And it's just so important to separate the two figures, because Vinsmoke Sanji is literally the persona that Sanji has been rejecting his entire life. And I just really think that everything he's done so far has subconsciously been a way of rejecting his status as a prince. Because, I mean, yeah, forgetting that he just loves cooking a lot. Cooking in general is a way of serving others, which is just the opposite of what princes do. And I just, seeing Sanji having to be this person that he doesn't want to be, I just find that so heartbreaking. And that's not even talking about the expressions that Luffy and Nami have in this chapter. The last panel where we see Nami just being on the verge of crying and breaking down, that was just so heartbreaking, because she was there the entire time when Sanji left them and said, "I promise I'll be back," and then her reaching him and then him saying, "I won't come back, I hate all of you," basically. That's just the most heartbreaking thing, because she was there all along. And the worst thing is, she's been in his situation, as I just talked about with Arlong Park. She knows what it's like having to act like a person you don't want to be. She had to act like she was a part of Arlong's crew, a crew who terrorized the people that she loved, under a man who killed her mother. And just the fact that she's able to sympathize with Sanji so much at the moment is just so heartbreaking to watch, because they are somehow still not strong enough to save him from this. And this, oh my god, I'm just gonna stop talking now, because you know all of it, but I just find it so heartbreaking that Sanji has no choice to do this. And last thing I want to talk about, because someone commented about Sanji not trusting Luffy's strength or whatever, and I don't really think that's the case here. The problem is that Luffy doesn't have all the information. He doesn't know that they have Seth hostage, that they have the Barity hostage, that Sanji will potentially lose his hands if he does anything to wrong them. And he needs some way to convey this to Luffy, and whether he does that in this fight or he trusts that they'll find out on their own because they somehow always get the information they need, I don't know. But it's important to remember that Luffy doesn't have all the information he needs to act in a proper way. He needs more information to form a plan that will save Sanji and not hurt anyone else. Because yeah, he could just save Sanji, and he probably could, using his Haki, take the fucking colors off him. We know that Haki allows you to do this if that's actually what Rayleigh did back in Shabandi. I'm pretty sure it was. And Luffy should have that ability. I am fully in on that theory. But that doesn't mean that they can save Seth if he just takes Sanji away. And they still have both the Vinsmokes and Big Mom against them. And as Luffy said, Year 4 takes a lot out of him. And just before meeting Sanji here, he said, I need to eat. And that's just a surefire way of knowing Luffy isn't at his best at the moment. He needs more energy. He said that also he burns through more calories when in Gear 4, and he hasn't eaten anything since that. So at the moment he's just not at his best, and going against the Vinsmokes at this point, I don't think Luffy can do it. Especially like with Sanji there, because he's a hostage. Yeah, I will move on to this to talk about my final point. The last thing I want to touch upon is what happens between the seducing words and us meeting Sanji, and that is Nami talking to Chopper. And while we don't really get any information, we have a glimpse of Chopper again, making it known to us that he has a plan, and at this point Nami probably knows what this plan is because we didn't see the entire conversation. I am wondering what exactly Chopper wants, because at this point I don't think the plan is solely focused on saving Sanji. I think the plan has more to do with how they're gonna get out of Whole Cake Island. Because I think that Chopper knows that that too is gonna be a problem. If they can save Sanji, yeah, that's all good. And they can get the Poneglyph, which is Brook's job, yeah, that's good and all. But Big Mom is not gonna let them get away if they have both Sanji and the Poneglyph. I mean, or a copy of the Poneglyph. She's not gonna let them do that, and there's the Vinsmokes as well. So Chopper must know, probably, that they need some way out. And the reason that I don't think it has anything particular to do with saving Sanji is because Chopper has a line saying something like, if you save Sanji, then just let me know. Which kind of makes it sound like, yeah, we could probably help save Sanji by like spying on them and stuff, but that's not really our edge here. And they did say, yeah, they wanted to use Brulee's power against her, so I'm guessing that they might use her power to get a good look around the island and see what their best escape plan will be. And this is gonna be important because at this point, I mean, I've said so many times that I do believe that at the end of the arc, Big Mom will be maybe not an ally, but they'll end up being on friendly terms with her. But there's still a big possibility that that's not gonna happen, that they'll have to flee the island after having saved Sanji and found some way of saving Seth. And if that's the case, they'll need some kind of safe way out, and maybe Chopper could provide that. But yeah, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below, because it could be anything at this point. It could also be finding allies. Jinbei is there. We still don't know anything about Jinbei. Very important to know that. We haven't seen Capote in a long time either. There are many people we haven't seen in a long time. I think ultimately that's what I have to say about this chapter. It was very heartbreaking. Go watch my live reaction if, yeah, that was just too much for me. But yeah, ultimately I think it was just, this chapter just really tugged at the feels and gave us a lot of information. And I'm just really looking forward to the next chapter now because, yeah, there are so many things, and I think we're slowly not gonna see a new side of Luffy, but we're gonna see the side of Luffy that can't deal with all his problems by punching them. And I'm just really interested in that because Oda does a good job of balancing out his characters with not only being strong physically but also being really smart. It doesn't just come down to power levels, it comes down to outsmarting your opponents as well and using their powers against them and just using creativity to win the fight. Because, just last point, I think a long time ago I discussed with I said that Luffy wasn't strong enough to battle against Big Mom or whatever the fuck. And someone commented and said that, well, he wasn't ready to fight all of his other opponents as well, and that's something that I agree with. But what we need to understand is that Luffy can win against his opponents, not because he's stronger than them, but because he can outsmart them as well. And I've said this with Don Krieg a lot, that Luffy basically won that fight, not by being strong, because I still think that he was physically stronger than Don Krieg was, but ultimately he won by outsmarting him and using all his weapons against him. And he did it in Skypiea as well. He used the powers of physics to beat Anil. I think the only fight where I kind of want to say that Luffy mostly just used pure strength was against Lucci. And even then, I feel like there must have been moments that I'm just forgetting about now, where Luffy uses mind, because he's a fighting genius, and that's something we all forget. And I say that a lot, but that's just, I really, really like when Luffy is smart. And again, it's not in the intelligent kind of way, it's just that he's just kind of street smart, and I think he got that from, yeah, basically living Great Terminal. I'm gonna stop now because I'm going on a tangent here and it has nothing to do with the chapter anymore. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because this was one hell of a roller coaster. And if you like anything that I have to say, leave a thumbs up on the video. And yeah, you can subscribe if you want to see more of me. I mean, I basically just rambled on this review, but I mean, I do that a lot. But yeah, I also do reviews of Haikyuu, Shokugeki no Soma, Boku no Hero Academia, and I do weekly videos on Haikyuu the anime and One Piece the anime. So if you're into those, you can subscribe. Until next time, bye!